Alright, sorry for the delay.
Oh, no worries.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good as soon as.
Yeah, good.
Let's do it.
Cool. So, everyone set?
Yep.
Part 1 is framed with the Orwellian nightmares come true. Trump's here to say the militarized right is taking over. Resistance is key more than ever. The role of the judge, no critical education. They have an obligation to break the oppressive biases. Giroux 1 writes, with Trump's election, authors are tightening culture-born violence, upgrade neoliberalism, balance of school models of prisons, education is crucial. It is necessary because direct behavior takes place. The role of balance is a better method for critically empowering students. Prefer additionally first equality to answer ethical questions. Extends and protect makes it quantum epistemology that makes that impossible. Medina writes, episode battle me try to control given field. In the mainstream frameworks become a hegemonic subject of knowledge or better worthy epistemic facts for scholars to resurrect subject knowledge and disrupt mainstream viewpoints subjects by themselves may destabilize the status quo they have given a seat at the table, altering make marginal viewpoints into resistance. Second, abstraction real life impacts make debate in excess of minority students. Smith writes, abstract is conversation reality, black men deal with every day, condemned intellectual masks keep hard conversations, only Trump's strategy is to engage discussion, and the issue in hand students not just oppression is bad, it is not a game of literature, learn about literature potential. 3, non-ideal theory is the only guide to action, abstract theorizing is useless. Mills writes, some theorists that endorse ideal theory, everyone seems to act justly, but when ethics matter action, framing of unhelpful, also you plan to kill too. The goal of ethics on ideal models to crack reality, solution understanding, works on injustice, social institutions, guaranteed ideals model never achieved. Part 2 is covering up news flash, most races don't admit it, they keep their actions hidden. Boatwright writes, cover race containers on college campuses, when it's in studies, social climate knowledge, climate claims, source use was, hostile for POCs, 50% petition white students meant to, dislike others based on race, racial progressions, directed at POCs for automatically white privileges, invisible to whites and student cards described on the campuses, they're viewed as paranoid or complainers that discuss race and whites, they're the difference or hostility, and speech goes put a bandit on a broken knee, they can't solve it because they ask those who caused the problem to fix it. Wise writes, speech is raising individual levels, most institutional, original by old boys networks, white whites passing information, and PSC being locked out by folks over racism. Speech goes distract us from institutional changes, desperately address racism. Indeed, both globally and domestically, speech goes target minorities, empiric show. Strawson writes, around which you want to include no correlation, let alone causation, based on equality for and with laws of hate speech from South Africa, used against the oppressed, in Europe, Soviet Union, laws equals persecution, critics for victims, anti-Semitism, electoral Michigan, in fact, 100 LP punished racists was on behalf of African Americans. The last thing we should use hand over discriminating officials' power to enforce speech codes. And the type of speech does not matter. The question is whether colleges have the right to censor it. Glasser writes, how is it defined who decides blacks and different speech fans that have been racist? The deciders were white. It goes blacks and different 1960s, victim Malcolm X speech fans, or like poison gas. Look at a dude trying to decide this when it shifts and blows it back onto us. In fact, not enough show that certain type of speech is bad. There must be a principle justifying any restriction, or its arbitrary spills over. White writes, in free speech inclusion, metaphorical inclusion itself, the first amendment protections, well established can't adding new ones. What support is the principal method which we determine which speech is protected, argue flag burning the First Amendment, apply equal force to hate speech ban according to flavor of the month, this court makes bad judgments, give power to decide on a case-by-case basis, hard to waste values, is ridiculous, thus the advocacy. Public colleges and universities in the United States ought not restrict any conspective speech. This makes them agents of inaction. They aren't allowed to restrict speech. Part 3 is on mass university, only making up coverage racism, less experience exposed to themselves. Caleros, the race no more dangerous one who is not known, often trouble by good reason speech, against more trouble, countless paper trail, the ASU campus, unidentified on display, most spends many soft tweets with posters, the most conspicuous flavor of the forward value bigotry is often best revealed, and free speech being seen to reclaim public space from unjust institutions, creating a cultural shift through protest. Block writes, free speech movement at Berkeley quickly shifted to advanced liberation of students and prelude to broader social transformation. Free speech movement expressed feels inclined towards American socialization, the counterculture fills new lifestyles, environment which firms self-expressive, anti-democratic with open lives. Meanwhile, the app makes possible minorities to respond themselves to offensive speech and option necessary for any more radical alternatives. Bond writes, the decades on rollback aims past work compels to make free speech a fundamental right more easily to expand or pursue any aims to wish to achieve on campuses, more demand on campuses, more power. We build for all sides with the left of the United States, speech, better ways with the largest possible force as possible. The struggle for open campus and UC campus appears this out. We should make a struggle strong enough to demand for free expression. We can't let anyone else build this for us. Part 4 is the energy. First, advocates are reacting to add the claim on counter-interpretations. Ace of point theory cause time smooth all states to 1AC. And the market can cover any shot at substance time skew is the biggest internal interference structural abuse. Green path can access, makes speeches physically impossible. B sub point, the app can't read T's. The RBI makes that a two-way street. Ensuring reciprocity, C point is app flex. Meant to build a collapse of 2 hours, app also combat, and 2 hours to combat the 2 hour collapse. Second, the question whether free speech is good, rather, who should regulate empiric show, community counter speech, better solves repressive speech. Majid. Counter benefits minority students, female authority protection, make rights, strong sense of empowerment, minority students often have the hot or sub-campus audiences, counter speech, defines important trouble targets Arizona States, female African American students found racist poster, human students take it voluntarily take attendance at Common Campus newspaper, so we're discussing racism, workshops, race relations, and free speech in Cornell University. At Stanford, students hold public speeches, sending a letter, saying a petition, distance themselves from the speakers, the experience involves the efficacy of counter speech. 3, speech goes make race into a forbidden fruit, increasing racism. Backlash means they can't solve. Burris. Prohibition of hate speech by the harm underground where they can proliferate. Some government best disinfectant. Government not effective as civil society properly squelching hate. If government finds parameters of acceptable speech, many break these boundaries just because government told not to. Because of forbidden fruit. Greece. Pass laws combat Russian racism. 69% of Greece hold anti-Semitic views. 9% of Americans. And I'll flash this after. 5th. The duty to fight oppression outweighs the risk of bad consequences. Federal backlash didn't justify the civil rights movement. The principle of intervening actors takes out this arguments. Go work. Cause connection routines on the affirms some action. Other persons incurring harm or responsible to remove the routines of other actors. Produce good actions. MLK was told that led demonstrations for civil rights were responsible for riots and tyranny. Principle of intervening actors is responsible because their interventions operated the condition of riots. You want that new card?
Yeah, you can open up to speech talk.
Yep. Okay, it should be sent.
Let me know when I get it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm closing the old speech talk.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah?
Yep.
What do you advocate?
I have a defensible resolution.
What does this agent of inaction mean?
Oh, sure. This is just like an argument about why this is contextualizing what the whole resolution entails. It means the resolution is like a negative state action. It's not like part of the advocacy, just explaining something.
So public colleges and universities just like refrain from restricting speech.
Well, the argument is that they should remove. Well, I defend like removing speech codes, obviously. I defend the whole resolution. If you want me to defend something different, you can just ask.
You defend removing speech codes?
I will defend it.
Okay. What does it mean to say we have to focus on institutional racism?
Sure. So the argument out of the app is that speech codes is the equivalent of using a metal detector to catch.
What is institutional racism?
Sure. I discuss covert racism and microaggressions that only POC can identify. That often whites just misunderstand the issues and assume it's overt racism.
Wait, what?
But things like, I'll give an example. Things like a tone of voice someone uses when talking to a minority, or someone instinctually grabbing their phone when a black person walks by. These are microaggressions.
How?
What?
Free speech results how?
Sure. That was Caleros and Block discussed why it lets minorities protest and bring attention themselves to the issues. And hate speech is often necessary if this means
Where's
that
the uniqueness for protest?
the Block evidence says that free speech was specifically key, and all the
No, where's your uniqueness for protest happening now?
What? Well, obviously, I'd say protest. It's a scalar impact, obviously.
Is it a scalar impact?
Yes, there can be more or less.
Is the app consequentialist?
I would say that the role of value is consequentialist. Yes.
Okay.
But it's not like strict util like pain and pleasure. It's rather just like it's more distributive about inequities. But I can talk some more about the protest stuff. The Caleros evidence is that hate speech is sometimes necessary if it can expose more covert harms of racism. So, for example, it was good when someone had put a nude poster outside their room because it warned women on the floor they should not go near this person. They're dangerous. So it's often good to have it.
What does it mean to view racism on an individual level?
Sure, the argument is that speech codes just miss the point because they...
No. What does it mean to view racism on an individual level? I'm not asking about speech codes. I'm just asking generally.
Sure, I'd say individual level focus on more what each person does as opposed to the overarching structures that respond to harms. And then often bigotry is caused by people, by culture of violence that's only addressed by people themselves taking matters in their own hands. POC can't rely on the...
Wait. So it's bad to view things as individual actors changing a system, but the only way to resolve this structure is by individual people to take action.
That misunderstands what I said. The problem is we shouldn't view problems as purely individualistic, but we should let people respond to issues on their own terms, as opposed to relying on white male administrators to pass heavy-handed speech codes that don't expose the more covert, microaggressive forms of racism.
Why are speech codes heavy-handed?
What? What was that?
Why are speech codes heavy-handed?
Sure, the argument is that they're run by, that was the Glasser evidence, they're run by white elites, and Strawson shows that the empirical manifestation enforces against minorities.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question.
I think it does.
Wait, does the app restrict speech that is not constitutionally protected?
No, obviously not.
The app.
I'm sorry, wait.
The app doesn't restrict speech that is not
I
constitutional.
defend the text of the resolution. I defend not
I'm asking
restricting constitutionally protected.
Do you defend restrictions on speech that is not constitutionally protected?
For like things like fighting words, the act depends on what's currently the status quo. Like I don't think it's
Okay.
based on that. Would you like me to?
No.
Okay.
Email sent.
Sorry, what's that?
120 email sent.
Okay. What's
You want to see Raffi?
Wait.
2 off case.
2 off? Okay. I haven't gotten it yet. Oh, sorry.
Let me know you got it.
Yep.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go slow on the intros?
Yep.
Yeah.
Activator must specify what constitutes constitutionally protected speech in the text in the ACB violation. They don't see your standards first time. Strats do not specify allows them to be sketched. They can shift out of disads and critiques by changing the definition of constitutionally protected speech based on that directly details what speech constitutes are a super important topic. Some interpretations of constitution include hate speech and some don't. Also means quality and that grabs any good disad CP will be dealing strats to be fair and fair starting position print debaters equal access to ballot. Voter is fairness which precedes substance because unfair arguments arbitrarily skew your evaluation. The round for the unfair debater debates competitive activity wins losses. So no debater should have an advantage. Also precludes your ability to determine the better day when the debater which link turns the roll of ballot drop. The debater 1, A, impossible how to determine how to unspeak around here. Rhetoric as standard debate proves 2, necessary to secure future debates. 3, dropping argument fails. It's inherent to advocacy. No RBI in this shell. Takes out your RBI arguments generally. A, you can run your own theory to make it two-way street. It takes that time to be strategy. B, RBI skill cheering to create a chilling effect. Either one, I run that theory and they can beat quickly without RBI. 2, I run true theory and the only they can win is if there's a better debate than me, so they can get away with abuse. People debate theory and however your speech front line times flow. No actual debate. It takes out substantive education, which controls the link to the role of ballot outweighs on probability. Most debates are most likely to hinge on definitional debates and the role of ballot when they're especially they not 3, RBIs make your debater result. When one debater is winning counter to an RBI, the other debater is winning intro and unrelated matter. There's no way to wait between these. The one shell no versus no abuse on the other, which takes out your RBI justification because it proves that there's no way to resolve this because these competing claims, which means you do not get access to it. 4, RBIs are reciprocal because you could win on the RBI, you can win on a new theory shell, or you can read top in the converse blank, or you can win on substance. Those are the 3 avenues to my 1, and I class of theory because this is an it's too short. It has to be for the one area. There's 2 errors, so it can't cover all issues in the overall. Use competing interpretations, paradigm versus judgments. The debater with often thinking to interpret counter interpret 1, reasonable encouragement intervention. I have no idea what your BS meter is. The following competing intervention is bad. Mistake the data, the hands of the debaters, undermining fundamental forces debate. 2, competing into creates better norms, increasing quality of debate in long term. 3, reasonably collapses. We end up debating the bright line. 2, second on. Counterplan text. Actors ought to engage in binding consultation with Malala Yousafzai, Pope Francis, and Barack Obama regarding whether or not to perform the advocacy. Actors ought to act in accordance with the majority decision. Malala Yousafzai's incredible moral testimony, her courageous struggle against the Taliban in favor of education, earned her a Nobel Peace Prize. She continues to be an inspirational advocate. Nobel Foundation, no date. Malala developed a thirst for knowledge, determined to go to school. Malala stood up to the Taliban. Malala was 11 years old when she wrote her first BBC diary entry. Her voice rose louder. 15-year-old Malala Yousafzai was shot by the Taliban. She published I Am Malala. Malala traveled to Jordan to meet Syrian refugees. Malala was named a Nobel Peace Prize winner. She became the youngest person to receive this prize. Malala funded Paras Girls to achieve their potential. Malala Yousafzai remains a staunch advocate and outweighs. She's going to Oxford to get a great education as well. Pope Francis has represented examples of billions of acts of justice. Obama 14. Pope Francis moved with his message of inclusion, especially for the poor and marginalized. The outcast. Pope Francis reminds us we are bound by moral obligations. Example challenges us to live out these obligations through work. Outweighs the Pope occupies a unique position of authority. Few people are as carefully vetted morally as those given an established position over millions. The Pope has been chosen for a council of cardinals who themselves gain position through success as a moral example of others. Last, Barack Obama has super political experience. He was the first black president to super raise this country. He won the Nobel Peace Prize and pretty much single-handedly reversed Bush's destruction. He has extensive legal knowledge and experience with constitutional interpretation. The standard is appealing to a qualified moral authority. In order to assess ethics must account for an own epistemic limitations. This is a function of regulative epistemology. We must look at epistemic virtues to find the right way to get to the right answer. Woods and Roberts 10. The triviality standard epistemology examples due to the historical preoccupation with skepticism. Some of epistemology's most productive moments, though, are because philosophers are willing to set aside words and get back to ordinary practitioners who are willing to call knowledge intellectual virtues of the kind that are likely to seem relevant. New emphasis on virtues in relation to epistemic goods is potential for epistemology in its right place. Analytic continues. Analytic epistemology aims to produce theories of knowledge and proceeds by time to define terms. Regulative epistemology tries to generate guidance for epistemic practice. Regulative epistemology is a response to deficiencies in epistemic conduct. It's strongly practical social rather than just a theoretical challenge. People's intellectualizing need to be reformed. If we are short-sighted, we need to learn to have it and then consult others whose opinion differ from our own read outside of discipline. Rule-oriented epistemology provides procedural direction for acquiring knowledge. Regulative epistemology aims less at direct regulation of epistemic conduct than habits of mind. We need not rulebooks for training. The habits in question are virtues. Regulative epistemology does not aim at finding fundamental disagreement. Virtues presuppose one another or another particular metaphysical background. Thus, any educational activity should promote intellectual virtues. Virtues such as humility require one to recognize cognitive limitation to epistemic authority exerts. We need to learn what authorities to trust, not to move away from trust in authorities. Woods and Roberts 10. Human belief what we're told we must depend on the testimony of others. Without this natural tendency, children cannot get started in cognitive lives. They continue. Given limitation to the way things are going, cognitive design plans early modern tendency provides the general suspicion of tradition and testimony can be read as an endorsement of epistemic arrogance. Future virtues and intellectual humility can be regarded as liberation of fragility disposition to unwarranted intellectual suspicion. Last is impact. Calc A. The affirmative doesn't argue the content of moral rules we should follow testimony rather than heuristic for obtaining moral knowledge. These means app standards that prove the truth of the ethical theory. On competitive, if your framework is correct, a qualified moral authority will already be considered to be testimony is inescapable. Any epistemic starting point would be impossible without some deference to others. We couldn't evaluate debate without trusting our authors. Our line believing around is where Tauber says it is. This means rejection of proofs and distinction between these moral authorities uniquely bad. This CNN attempt to leverage acts often is the best reason why testimonies would probably vote yes to the CP Saul's case. He says it's consequentialist, that's why, but that means the rest can't possibly be true. A, it's a contingent moral theory, totally dependent on empirical context. You have to predict there will be never time the restriction on CPS creates more moral goodness and bad, so it's a possible prediction to make because all time negative more likely true than false, absent this empirical claim. B, maximize the abuse of consequentialism are incoherent and constant status Norcross. If utilitarian claims one has obligation to produce X amount of utility, there cannot be a significant distinction. The actor produces X and one produces slightly less. The utilitarian cannot produce any kind of duty obligation unless he claims that there are morally significant utility thresholds. It is the theory of competitive value of actions which rates alternative actions in comparison to one another. This links to the abstinence because the abstinence tries to reduce oppression overall, which is functionally the same thing as trying to produce a particular version of the good. Skip to the underview. You say advocates or RBIs overviews that you'll be able to 13 minutes, so 900 times Q. B point is the statistics how much times Q because they're most verifiable most verifiable. I've lost more never in that front, so always in specificity this case returns your type Q arguments now on your types of words particularly. You say A theory causes type Q because it moves all 6 minutes of the ACB and 1. No, you can frontline theory interpretations in the and generate theory because spikes empirically proven by the AC, which means you have the ability to generate offense early, and the debate takes out the intercaling B, turn, moving 6 minutes to AC is good because it allows you to restart, which allows you to reset and gain a competitive advantage in time 3, turn, theory doesn't substance causes worse times because negative to spread out the app, horizontal spread is better than a vertical spread because it creates the ability for us to engage in multiple different layers, which increases clash. Now, you say app can run to 1, no, not unique, you can run to with a converse line 2, you can to turn you cross apply the reciprocity way from the first RBI's argument. Now you say flex 1, so negating is harder because negating is harder. After speak last strategic argument, 1 response to each tuner argument, it automatically be written the way their offense back they can't respond. They automatically win. When they can't win combat, even a perfect tuner has to be right to AR, which outweighs because they're concerns of rebuttal fight schemes.
Okay, can you send a mark speech back, please?
Yeah. There were some analytics. There were some.
Okay, ready for cross-X?
Mm-hmm.
Status of the counterpoint?
Unconditional.
Unconditional? Do they say yes or no under consultation?
That's irrelevant to the counterpoint.
Well, I want you to take a stance on it.
You can read arguments as to why they say.
Well, that's important for functional competition. Do they vote yes or no?
I don't think it's important for functional competition.
That's a functional competition where
I think the framework establishes a obligation to take account.
But if it results in the app, then it's obviously plan plus and not competitive. So do they say
no,
yes?
it's not obviously plan plus and not competitive. It's a change in the action
of
the plan. It's substantive. The framework identifies a distinction between acting with.
Okay, how do I turn the NC?
How do you turn the NC?
Yeah.
You read arguments why consultant qualified moral testimony authorities would is.
How does that answer your framework though?
You could read it why it's a bad idea. That would.
So I can only make framework answers. I can't substantively turn the NC.
You can also argue that binding consultation is bad in the context of speech.
Why would what?
You can argue that my moral authorities are really bad moral authorities and provide your own moral authorities,
Is that offense underneath the NC?
It's offense underneath the NC to say that moral authorities want us to take action without consultation.
Okay. Let's discuss the auto-negate arguments on this framework. Wait, so is this implication presumption or just like auto-negate? The consequentialism fails. Is that a reason to auto-negate or what?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. The theory you read. So give an example of like what would meet your intro. Like I would have to give like a certain test of determining constitutionally protected speech or what?
Yeah. You could say I defend it.
Okay, name a dissent you lost.
What's up?
Name a single dissent you lost.
Name a single dissent
I
lost. I lost a bunch of dissents.
You have 0 dissents on your wiki. You've written on all topic. Name a single one you lost to figure. This is
That's
obviously
definitely not true. I lose dissent and counterplan and critique route. I've definitely read critiques which link to a particular.
Why can't you just read a competition argument? If I defend the whole res, why wouldn't that be a normal means to it? You can read a competition argument in the 1 and C that I can answer.
Because you can create implications out of
Wait,
means that I
so
can't
you
really
seriously think that
explain.
Paras is going to be down with me getting up in the morning or being like, oh, here's what I really meant in the app and reading a new definition from what constitutes
I don't know,
yes.
Raffi, you read something about how it's inaction in the app, and then you're like, oh, but I actually defend
Okay,
college
that's
as taking an
irrelevant.
action of
That's
removing
totally
restrictions.
irrelevant.
So I
That's
think
fine.
that the plain text is at least vague enough that you should
I'm
specify.
moving on. The testimony, let's talk about the testimony framework. What determines who's a moral authority?
There are several standards. One is like experience in terms of generating a number of moral situations. The other one is providing ethical guidance to a number of
Who
people.
determines if someone's a moral authority? Us?
There just are moral authorities, right? Like that's the thing.
So we just unflinchingly assume it's a moral authority?
No, I mean like you can question whether a person is a moral authority, but the issue is that like it's not a strict yes or no answer, right? It's a probabilistic question.
Cool.
People are more or less likely to have moral authority.
I have a different question. Auto-negate arguments on the case. You say maximizing doesn't work. The app never maximizes. It's a distributed theory that was cross-X. Why do I link to this?
A distributed theory is a theory of justice which attempts to promote a social condition, right?
I'll start.
You say that the app is consequential, so that's the problem.
Cool. I'm starting that. I have 117 left. It's right down. The order is 2 new off, then the be his shell, case, counterpoint.
Can you label the offs?
Yeah, 2 new shells.
Cool.
And the interpretation is 1 shell.
So 2 shells, then what?
2 shells, then his shell, then case, and counterpoint.
RBI debate, is that going to be relevant?
Not on the AC. I may do some work on his shell, but not on the case page. Like, you don't need the app review.
Cool.
Okay, accepted.
Including, I floated like the negating and harder stuff on the app review, do I need that?
No. I don't think so.
Cool.
Alright, so
2
2
shells.
new off, T, CP.
Yes.
Case CP, right?
Sorry, case CP.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not answering T.
What?
You're not answering T.
I'm not answering what?
2 new off.
Then your shell, not
T.
case.
2 new off theory.
I'm not
case.
conceding a theory.
Gotcha. That would be.
That would have been interesting. Whoops. Okay. Let me know when everyone's ready. You good?
Can you give me 1 sec?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Okay. You good? Interpretation. If a negative theory on a link of omission is something I did not specify against a whole res app, they have not been the chance to comply with their interpreting CX or pre-round. The violation did not do so. CNET benefits versus topic education. They can go spec interpretation against the app with the entire 1AC spec, CPS spec, a certain college, etc., which avoids discussion of 1AC proper, which yields education. Second is reciprocity. I hate the sensation coming out of the 1AC automatically, and they had a burden joiner, for example. I can't go over against them. I can't go over against them in next speech. So specifications overall key to solve and pre-round solves, or cross-ex, they can give you a chance to comply with the voting issue for fairness, and also education is why schools and activity. Education outweighs fairness first duration. The fairness matter when you sign about work science, your feature skills, which is overall key to solve. Second outweighs the size of link. Anything that's skew fairness to a small extent word education is based on actual skills that apply. Meta theory outweighs theory first. It solves all reviews anyway. It's functionally counter-interpretation too, which means that they get the direct offense. Second, abuse in theory is worse than abuse in substance. It affects the entire round directly as opposed to other factors. Next off. Interpretation, that may not be a moral testimony framework. It counterpoint to engage in binding consultation with moral authorities, and also say consequentialism auto-negates. Use spirited interpretation, otherwise they can go oblivion means to make it true or impossible to actually solve the violation that was cross-ex. CNET enemies versus strategy skew. The one error is literally impossible. Counterpoint solves the entire act, taking a consultation, results in the 1AC, so I can't weigh the case underneath it. And I only options the 1AC framework, but they say it auto-negates, which means I can't turn that. What is functioned against the 1AC? Which means I have no options against the strat, killing education and fairness. Second is clash. They can move the entire 1AC, never respond to arguments back. These notion of free speech are important altogether, and research the entire new discussion across the voters, and it's framing issues on his shell now. His shell. Counter-interpretation is the opposite of his interpret, benefit is ground. If I specify CPS in the 1AC, they can go for T against that, or they can go for any number of counterpoints based on that interpretation of sitting duck to arguments which outweighs the size of link back to the voter. It moves the entire app strategy down the shell, proper place and overview. 2 major framing issues, 1 no shiftiness, that was crossing, which is embarrassing. Obviously, the judge not let me read a new interpretation of 1 will constitute CPS. I'm out of the 1AC, I have the means that judges didn't make judges check back shiftiness. Second, no abuse, you have no diss under your wiki, means that it's obviously frivolous, shall move the entire 1AC, no direct offense, they say strategy skew first turn. I can de-link stuff more often. Specify the 1AC. For example, I say CBS when it's hate speech. They don't get the guns counterplan if I specify on the app, which is comparatively better 2-turn. They can specify themselves read competition arguments the counterplan, which solves fake make arguments, that's why it doesn't apply. Give me an RBI bidirectional theory, they can go for spec good and spec bad, which moves the entire app, weighs your RBI argument size of link, even RBI is generally bad. This one context overall key. Now, the case. I'm crashing you in substance because you can see pretty much the entirety of the app. Go to consequential, so auto-negates the first argument was that contingent world theories. We can stop calculating those, make sure we can stop applying at certain points. We can realize good is good enough. State actors always do that. Their second was maximization fails. The app is not maximization distributed theory about social equality opposed to maximization. Now the framework of the second justification with Smith 13. Abstract in this conversation beyond the facts do every single day. Intellectual gymnastics, get part of conversations, which outweighs your framework. A is functionally a TJF, and then works by education which focuses on issues of equality as opposed to other moral theories, which means mindfulness prior to educational system, be supported hijacks your framework, spits the moral authority in the content debate itself. He won the NUTC, which means that he's most qualified now the offense. Extend cartoon straws and speech codes are enforced against minorities empirically shown in across the entire world, enforced against black people, which outweighs your offense on probability. The counterplan does not mean that he doesn't say it, they'll vote yes because the counterplan does not definitely solve the app, or we do that the app would solve speech codes every single instantiation, which is overall key. Now, the NC. Overview perm to the counterpoint is not competitive with the Atlas Plan Plus, and they advocated at consultation with 1AC. Double bind either A, they say yes, in which case not functionally competitive, and it does the entire app B, they say no, in which case can't solve the case. Now, the end that the counterpoint proper first turn asking is bad. It yields moral authority, it means we never think ourselves, which is bad for moral authorities because we can't actually identify real solution impression by thinking ourselves. Now, the framework can be a group at first following moral testimony, means you learn the right thing for wrong reasons. Hills. Their distinction doing the right action, acting well, your action were the only few, the right reasons, why extremes killing immoral killing juices, violence skills, merit frames, things around faith and do not because the right reasons, mark the card at right reasons. Second, AC controls the internal link. Inclusivity is key to ensure we can actually discuss things, otherwise people never take action when they're facing structural violence. So quality comes first. Now, the impact having the bottom, your AC point was that it is a heuristic, but it's a bad heuristic. Mine is also key because we can focus on inequalities themselves. Their BC point was that the B point was that it is inconceivable, but the AC comes prior because I've learned why it's not inevitable. We can reject testimony in certain instantiations.
140. Do you make no RDI arguments?
I falsified all of yours, like the chilling effect stuff. And my argument for the RDI was app specific.
Yeah, you can go for it.
What?
What is the what is this like new discussion argument on the second inter? What you say something about new discussion on the second inter?
Oh, my argument was that we should focus on issues of free speech directly and clashing with the app, including the entire 1AC is bad.
No, that was earlier. I'm asking about the third argument on the shelf.
Oh, your show?
Your shelf. Your second shelf.
I only read 2 standards of arguments.
Okay. The
Who's
first one
first?
was can't wait case. The second one was
Clash.
clash because it moves the entire DAC.
Yep.
Why can't you wait case?
I was answered in the shell. The framework is preclusive and the counterpoint solves the app, so it's impossible with the case. And my only shot is to go ham for framework, but consequentialism auto negates means that I can't do that.
Okay.
Paras.
Alright, email sent.
Do I need new paper?
Yeah, well, no, you don't need your paper.
What's the order?
It's my shell, his shell.
Okay, any substance or no?
What's up?
Any substance or no?
Yeah, I'm just putting it in the bottom of the box.
Oh, sure, okay. So your shell first then?
Yeah.
I have enough to go.
Okay.
So is the bottom of the top?
Yep. Under 2 and R.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm sorry, no, the order was not clear. You're going to your shell and then his shell's in the order if you read them.
Yep.
Okay, and then are you going to substance or
Probably
not?
not.
Huh?
No, probably not.
Okay. Let me just label this. Yes, where on your shell are you starting?
Enter.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Extend interpretation must specify what constitutes consciously protected speech in a text that forms the text of the AC. Extend violation, you do not. Now on the standards debate. Overview to your response to the standards debate. You only have one piece of offense against which you ground. The rest are just defensive competing interpretation. You vote F on the risk of neg on the risk of offense, by when the risk of offense plus the shell outweighs. Now, your first argument, your only offensive argument is ground that you can go that I can go for a T or counterplans on your framework. But first, impact on T and counterplans are really good because it allows us to test the app multiple different angles and determine the best practice for engaging the app. Also always in terms of your role about because it's about creating solutions to change, which means that I shouldn't just defend the status quo. I should have the ability to defend counterplans. You have to provide specific reasons why the sorts of counterplans that not specify by constitution protect speech is really bad. But the sorts of counterplans and disadvantages that I gain access to are, and if you specify what constitutes protected speech are really good to turn to your ground advantage. The first argument is the strong AI disadvantage that I'm trying to break in this round, but you wouldn't have granted me the link to Ms. Norton 16. Conferring free speech rights to non-human speakers may shift doctrine. Citizens united address push trust in the speech on speaker's direction. That may inspire rethinking. Courts may treat strong AI as only derivative rights holders. There is a debate in legal theory right now which implicates the foundational perspectives of what constitutes speech, i.e. what is the proper test for determining whether constitution protects speech is really good. I was trying to break a new disadvantage to read against your app, but you prevented me from the ability to do that, which kills all ability to generate new strategy against the app, which always in terms of education, new arguments, because we generate new forms of clash that you haven't encountered before. The fact that this argument is new means that the specification is importantly key, especially key in this circumstance. If you would have laughed if I had asked you, like, is strong AI constitution protected speech and cross-examination, which means CS cannot possibly solve now. You say no shifting is obviously the judge one. You say no shifting is obviously the judge one. Evaluating new implications, but A, especially key in the context of strong AI disadvantages, B, because it implicates foundational legal questions brought up by Citizens United, like is speech a question of the content of the information produced by speakers, or is it a question of the moral personhood of the speaking entity, or like can things like votes speak, or can like computer code speak? These are issues that are really important that the app wouldn't have addressed. And no author in your app takes an implicit stance on this, so you do not gain access to your second abuse argument in the first place. So now, the risk of shifting is always a point. If you can move the entirety of the one it's in, you could have read competition arguments against AI that are really woefully underdeveloped. And the really important issue is not whether AI speech is good or bad, how AI interacts with how AI interacts with the app, which means it's really important to me that you have the ability to generate link stories against the app. Means you need to specify these foundational legal principles, which means specifying an account of what constitutionally protected speech is really important. A test would have sufficed. You don't have to specify every concrete instance of constitutionally protected speech, which always your infinite specificity argument. You say they just don't get access to guns. Counterpoints, that's irrelevant. I'm winning strong AI. Ms. Norton 16 is also evidence why it's really good for legal education on this topic. How they're costly internal to your education voters in that way, because the app frames the round. So in terms of kinds of education we get into the debate, so even if you frame the round in a way that we can't get really good education that forces abuse of tech strategies, which means abuse is self-imposed. Now on the shifting is our argument also always on strength of link, because person is more likely to Shifting's argument also out on strength of even strategic consent to competition, even strategic consent to blood extrapolation competition arguments. It's unlikely they'll have a card against AI, which means it incentivizes sketchy tricks specifically in this context. That weighs on specificity. Now, this takes out the rest of your standard arguments. You have one RBI argument on bidirectional theory, but you have conceded 4 arguments you do not get an RBI on, specifically this shell, which is a more narrow standard than bidirectional theory in general, which means that weighs on specificity. You cross-apply the specificity way, and you have conceded. You've also conceded the third argument on no RBIs, because it makes theory debate resolvable, because you have a theory offense and I have theory you have theory offense off the RBI, and I have theory offense off of an RBI and another shell. How do we weigh the abuse story? You've conceded the entirety of the strength of link for this argument. You've also conceded the resolvability weighing for the competing interpretations argument. So this comes first, takes debate out of the debater's hands, which means you get no RBI whatsoever. Now on your shell. Overview to your shells, reject them both. They both have grammatical. They both have misspelled interpretation. Be no norms creation, net benefit. Now, second interpretation, or second overview to your shells, reject 2 new one-error theory shells, because of excuse the time you get the ability to collapse to both of them. Cross-apply negating is harder. This outweighs the rest of your theory shells. You conceded the weighing in the last speech. The time comes first because it is because it determines how much time we have to create arguments, and specifically key in this context, the only verifiable standard for abuse. That weighing was done explicitly in the 2 and in the 1 C. So you do not get new to our answers to contest it. Means we reject the content, reject both one-error theory shells and one-error theory is bad. A, at this first class speech on theory debates, it's invaluable. You get 2 sets of arguments. I get one judge can do action, interventionist, and judge has to do implicit way for me to make a decision on a win for the app. They can make arguments, and judge won't do weighing on always all arguments, because no matter what the decision will be fair. You cross-apply the resolvability weighing. Now B is tied to they get evidence on theory. I only get it's impossible for me to win the debate, since minimum more theory is definitely sufficient to win. You have conceded a bunch of the interaction on the 1A on the RBI arguments from the app, about why the ability to reset on theory is really bad for you. Now on your shells in specific. First, You say cross-examination check 1, the arguments in the shell why text is key, the text is a stable locus for debate, which means it's specifying as important B. I can also ask cross-examination, but shouldn't be a requirement, especially if the asking cross-examination is likely to prompt you to generate something sketchy out of the app, which is proven in the context of the AI argument that I really wanted to read. C is this is just a defensive claim to Bruce that it's good to have asking cross-examination, not that it's been a requirement to. Now you say move the 1AC and avoids discussion. No, I'm winning a legal education argument. B, you conceded the moots answer. You conceded all the moots 1AC answers from the you conceded the moots 1AC answers from the response to the RBI's argument that in the AC, which also takes out the second shell. Sorry, the counter-interpretation on the first shell is that I don't have to ask. Now the counter-interpretation on the second shell, I can read all of them now. The first step benefit is neck flex. You conceded that you conceded the negative ability to test multiple apps, and you conceded the neck time skew outweighs.
Okay, I'll start prep. I had 117. Okay, the order is cross-ex checks, starting on the meta theory first stuff, and then the shell, his overviews, and then his shell.
Okay, my flow is sort of a mess.
Okay, I'm starting on the first shell I read. On the meta theory comes first argument, it's the very bottom.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then what?
And then after that, I will go straight down the inter, and then...
For CX checks?
Yes, for CX checks. And then...
Starting with his overview arguments?
No, starting with the original shell, like the topic education standard.
Got it.
Okay.
And will you, because I flowed the arguments he put on the overview for like reject 2 shells and like the misspelled stuff.
Yeah.
On a separate sheet. So are you
sure, I'll go to that sheet separately. I'm doing that last.
Last.
Yes, and then his original shell.
Cool. And not going for the consult stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll like address substance in the overview there.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Is everyone ready? Okay, you good? The framing is the tuner spent 4 minutes on a shell, uncovers the 1 error cross-ex check shell. If theory is messy but after substance, he concedes that's a good idea now. CX checks. The counter is not competitive. He concedes that pre-round or in cross-ex would solve his offense, because none of his offense is competitive with mine. If they use his close in the wiki, you could ask me before the round begins. That was the interpretation. So now I'll go to the bottom of the shell, extend meta theory comes first, the first argument. Then function counter interpretation of your shell and solves all his offense, because then I could clarify cross-ex. Meta theory goes first, was completely conceded coming out of the 1AR, and I'm thrashing you on the shell because your arguments here just missed the point. So now go to the shell proper, extend the interpretation. Now we're clarifying CX pre-round or CX or pre-round, which solves all the counter-interpretation offense. Asking pre-round means no trade-off in terms of wasting time in cross-ex. Now topic education, extend the first step benefit. He moves the entire 1AC. Go for any shell, expect or expect bad. I'm on the right side of the issue here because he can always go for some topic education that weighs your offense because he conceived that education outweighs fairness. So it goes first in terms of size of link and magnitude. My effects from prior arguments here. These are very blitty coming out of the 2R. The first was legal education, but free speech controls the influence we discussed first mem jurisprudence opposed to going for frivolous to shells with the entire AC. Discussing things like the 1AC, for example, is good for legal education. Second, legal education is not as important as topic education. Other rounds would solve their offense. His second was that it boosts the entire 1AC, which is the RBI. 1. Other things can solve for neg flex as well. No reason why having this 1 shell is overall key. Second, it's about fairness in education. He's needed education that weighs fairness. None of the term links matter. So now his arguments about why CX checks is bad. The first is the text overall key for a stable Lucas point, but the pre-round stuff would solve his offense, so reason why, if in this one context, second, asking cross-text overall key, because the judge will check back and shiftiness, his second was not a requirement, but all my standards prove that it's worse known for debates, not trial clarifying cross-text, which does solve. His third was defensive at best, but it's offensive that boots the entire 1AC. Now, his dump on the 1 AR shell is first with grammatical errors. He conceded sphere to the interp coming out of the 1 AR though, which solves his offense because it means that the judge knows what action endorsed. His second was reject 2 1 AR shells, one only go for one of the shells, which functionally solved the offense. They only go for one layer, which is not bad. Second, look towards specificity. My shell is overall true. It's better for the interp to endorse my norm than his. Now, the 1 AR 3 bad arguments that Ace point was that it first and last speech. The 2 AR 6 minutes long, which solves your offense. You can go for Wang and resolve the issue there. Visa point was time skew. They read 1 and C shells. They can maybe use the fact that 2 AR didn't cover. It was my fault. And overall key, I've won the 1 AR shell because the counter not competitive with mine, and then that raised his shell. So you can vote there now. His shell, the spec shell. He's conceded a turn to his standard, which is game over. All strats seeks my first response, I conceded turn. I can deal in counterblends, I specify in the text of 1AC. I can say, for example, that a CPS does not include what they want to read counterblends on. Completely conceded link turn means he gets no strats to go offense, also it's my second response. He also conceded turn. He could specify himself in the 1 and C, make a competition argument, which solves the AI disad. Even if AI matters, you can say they've considered CPS yourself, which is very beneficial because they can do their own way. These are 2 completely conceded turns. Even if I lose the 1 AR shell, that is where you can vote. Ask yourself the question, why is me specifying worse than him specifying the 1 and C, and reading competition themselves now, his Wang by shifting us that ways. He says moves the entire 1 and C. His question is size of length. One of the cross-site check shells function counter interpretation. That what cross-site would solve his offense means that my shell comes before his second education at waste fairness was conceded, which resolves your offense. This round looks very messy. The tiebreaker issue is that he's conceded education at waste fairness and meta theory first. Correct.
Long time coming. It's fantastic at debate. Alright, good debate. I think that it's a relatively easy half ballot for me. I think that there are a couple of tricks the 2 AR is not handling as well as it could be, like the reject multiple shells. And I'm happy to give you guys strategic advice about that and content related advice, because I think there's lots of minor adjustments that the 1 AR, the 2 AR, and the 2 AR could be making to make the debate a lot cleaner and easier. But I think that the 2NR is not dealing with the nuance of the original interpretation that you could just ask pre-round, which I think is devastating for you, because the entirety of your offense is framed in the 2NR as, like, I would lose this disad. But it seems like if you ask him before the round, you would not lose the disad, because it would be very clear. And the competing interps framing on risk of offense relies on you winning a risk of offense, and I think this is, like, functionally terminal defense. I also think that this like turn is very techy, and I appreciate it. And it does really go dropped. Like you can delink more if the AC specs, which like might be one of the silliest arguments I've ever heard, but here we are. And that techie argument is dropped. And I think that, you know, it's just problematic for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I was impressed. I thought you were good. I think that there are a couple of adjustments you need to be making. You got to be catching the plank of the interp. That's about pre-round, and you got to be giving lip service to that. I also think that the decision to like read your AI card was ballsy and good. I think very few debaters are intent on proving the abuse, and you did that. But one suggestion is that like, if you really want to read that dissad, you probably could have and like just asked, right? Like I don't know if you're actually trying to have that dissad case debate. Yeah, I figured. But yeah, I think that is, you know, I appreciated that. That's something that more debaters should be doing. I'm really happy I got this on video because I plan on setting up a lot of drills based off this. This was a great round to judge.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. So you said after the 2NR that your flows were really messy and like you had to flow something on a separate sheet.
Yeah.
How should I structure the 2NR differently to make it easier?
I recommend to my kids taking to the judge through just a new sheet of paper.
Okay.
Yeah, on the new sheet of paper, do all of your weighing and all of the framing issues.
New sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I flowed it all. It's just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think the 1AR and 2AR strats for like open theory like that was good?
I thought 1AR strats were good in terms of coverage. I thought content-wise, you left yourself short in a couple of places. I don't know why you're not responding to this like side bias turn. I would have put out a reasonability out index to the one-end shell, not the RBI out on the shell itself. I think that I was actually thinking to myself that's one of the better 1ARs I've ever heard in terms of coverage. Like that was really top notch. But content-wise, I think you're leaving yourself. Don't drop side bias. It's like not a good idea, right? Because I think that the 2NR, your 2AR coverage on can't read multiple shells is not good. And you have two answers. Like one is that the 2NR is 6 minutes long, and the second is that the 2NR should cover. And both of them are basically like boohoo, like debate. And you're dropping like a judge perception argument, you're dropping a time skew argument, and in terms of the nuance of that debate, like even if meta theory comes first, I don't think you're functionally accessing your new shell because you're not taking that argument seriously enough. And I think you need to like take that argument seriously. If you have tech people in the back of the room, because it's like, yeah, if that argument is dropped, I'm not evaluating your show.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, so you vote F on the RBI.
What?
You vote F on the RBI.
No, I vote app on substance.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got you.
Yeah.
He wins the counter interp on T.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thank you for judging.
No problem. Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Oh, you know what I asked him? Do you just split speaks or no?
I don't, but you guys got good speaks.
That's okay. See ya. Good round.